So I titled this video, Expect Women to Use Your Impatience Against You When Dating, and I'm going to tell you a little story. So years ago, I was dating this woman, and I went through like probably the worst heartbreak of my life. So what happened was, like, this heartbreak, when I tell you like how bad this actually was, see, that's the funny thing too, like a lot of you guys think I just say these topics like, don't give women a lot of attention, or you probably shouldn't be, texting back super fast, or you need to understand how to satisfy hypergamy, or things like women only want a man who's pre-selected by other women. The reason why all of these things are so important is because I know what to do, because I've already made every mistake in the book 10 times over, 50 times over, 100 times over. That hurt so bad, it made me into who I am today. So here's what you have to understand. I was dating this woman a few years ago, and when we separated, it was literally the worst experience of my life. Like, tons of things happened. I could not eat, I could not sleep. I lost probably 15 pounds. She was literally all I thought about for probably a year straight. It gets really bad. Like, it's like her whole face and her whole smile, the image of her was just like completely burned into my head. Meaning, like, at night I would even have dreams about her. Like, that's literally all I would think about. The scent of her perfume, I would like remember it from time to time, or if it was like on my couch or things like that. I just remember like, it was so miserable because when I would go to bed at night, it was the only thing I would think about was her and how she looked, how she sounded, how she would smile. And then when I would wake up in the morning, it would be the first thought that would go through my brain. So when I tell you like it hurt so bad, like I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't think, I couldn't focus. And it's those types of heartbreaks that make you into a man. Like, it's not until you run across a woman like that where you go, she's different, oh, I can drop my guard, or she's different, or oh, I can treat her really nice, or I can wear my heart on my sleeve, or show her how I feel, or any of that stuff that you think that you can do when you meet the one or the right girlfriend, or you meet that one person. You start to do a lot of the things that you shouldn't, because you think that that person's different, and then you slowly realize she's a woman too, and she has all the same female nature hardwirings too. And just because you thought you had chemistry, just because you thought you had a personal connection, just because you thought that that was your person, you realize in a quick hurry that it isn't, and that the rules still apply to you no matter who you are, and the rules still apply to how she's going to operate no matter who she is. So it's the heartbreaks that make the man, okay? Whenever anybody online tells you, oh, men are made through suffering and sacrifice and trials and tribulation, they're not. Men are made through heartbreak. That is how you redefine yourself. That's how you reinvent yourself, because a woman will tell you in a quick hurry what's good about you and what's bad about you. So here's what I can tell you. You need to always expect women to use your impatience against you when dating. So here's what I mean by that. So at the time, me and my girlfriend were dating, and I thought that everything was perfect. And then she went on like a 2.5 week long vacation. And obviously, since I was young, since I was very naive, she was all I was thinking about, and I couldn't wait to see her. And I verbalized this, and I told her this through text message, and I made all of the mistakes that you've made. And I've made all of the mistakes that you've made 150 times over, which is why every single time I go out on my marker board and I show you exactly what to do, it's because I already know what not to do. Because it's not until you lose 15 pounds because you can't eat, it's not until you have to take, some sort of, like sleep aid or something to even get a few hours night's rest because you literally can't sleep because she's all you think about. It's not until you go through that you actually understand what I'm saying, and you actually realize that it's true, and you actually take everything that I teach you on those marker board videos to heart. You actually internalize it instead of just looking at it as some concept that goes in one ear and out the other. Like, it takes the pain before you start to change. So my girlfriend at the time went on this big 2.5 week long vacation. I didn't see her. I was super excited to see her. So I texted her and I'm like, hey, I can't wait to see you, or, you should come hang out, or let's go grab food or something like that. And then instantly I could feel her pull back. And then instantly I could feel like after she got home, like I wasn't the first person that she communicated with. And then I was super confused, which at the time made me only pursue more and call her and be like, hey, why didn't you message me? Or, hey, why don't we go meet up? I haven't seen you. Only to be hit with another, text message of her saying something along the lines of like, I really like you and you're really great, but this just isn't for me. And I've been thinking a lot about this, and I don't know if you're for me or not. And I'm sitting there scratching my head thinking, well, how could I not be for you? Like, look at all this time we spent together. Look at all these amazing experiences we've had together. And then you start to understand that a woman's idea and preconceived notion of love is completely different than yours. So that's why I make these videos, okay, is to spread these concepts with you guys, because inside of Headman Nation, when I created that this past, week, we finally released it, and men are actually going through this, understanding the language of women, seeing this in real time play out for themselves. The reason why I made this is because I'm only one man. If I make these videos, yeah, I can touch a certain amount of people, but it's going to take us as a community, it's going to take us as a brotherhood to actually grow this movement and to make this into something real, which is why I made this. So keep that in mind, because here's what I can tell you. The longer you date, the more you realize that women actually want to share a guy. So I'm going to tie this into the title in just a second, because the title that I told you was expect women to use your impatience against you when dating. Keep this in mind. Where was my impatience at? Where was I not patient? I wasn't patient in letting her come to me. I wasn't patient in letting her reach out to come and see me when she got home from vacation. So if you see me looking down, I do have some notes. So here's what I can tell you. The longer you date, the more you realize that women want to actually share a guy, or at least that's what they respond to. Okay, so they might yell and scream at the top of their lungs and say, I don't want that, or you're making me so pissed off. But what you're going to notice is they keep coming back to the guy who has multiple women. So when you kind of realize this and you start to date long enough and you piece this together for yourself, and you're like, whoa, guys who have multiple girlfriends get all of the love from the women. Guys who see multiple women also have women pursuing them, and they just keep coming to you. You start to see that a lot of the things that you find that are attraction mechanisms, such as like looks, money, or status, those are only preliminary attraction mechanisms that you're wanting to aid in the one big attraction mechanism, which is pre-selection. So it doesn't matter how many other attraction mechanisms you have working in your favor, women are always going to gravitate towards a pre-selected man, because what you see is women respond to a man who already has women. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because the longer you date, the more you realize that women want to actually share a guy, or at least that's what they respond to. So keep this in mind. The longer you date, you figure this out. So I figured out that attraction to women, all it is just a discrepancy in sexual market value. That means she views your sexual market value up here, and she finds yours to be higher than hers. The second that this dynamic shifts and she feels like her discrepancy in sexual market value is above yours, or she feels like her dating market value is above yours, now she feels like she's above you, now she looks down on you, now hypergamy is not satisfied, and now she exits. So this is super important to realize, because this is female attraction in a nutshell. And this took me 10 years to figure out, which is why I created this community, which is why I know that if we all come together, we can actually start to shift the way that majority of men are looking at dating, which is leaving them heartbroken and lonely and not having a brotherhood to connect with, which is ultimately the most important reason why I made this, is because we as men, instead of competing for once in our lives, we have to actually come together. Nobody is saying this. It's always his status versus your status, and it's a constant competition. If we come together, we actually change the dating dynamic and we change the dating game. This is why this is so important to me. This is why I've made 2,000 videos on this channel. Keep this in mind. What you're doing at all times when you're dating women, the second thing that I wrote down is you're trying to imitate a pre-selected man. So what do I mean by imitate a pre-selected man? The reason why women know how to use your impatience against you is because what they're doing is they're testing to see if you have other options and if you're able to walk away from them. So the thing is what they're doing is they understand that most men are thirsty, most men don't have a lot of options, and they understand that most men have a high sex drive. So because of that, what they do is they use long time delays. She will take 48 hours to not reply to you. She will take 5 days to not open your direct message on social media. She will take 6 hours to not call you back, because she wants to see that you can sit tight. She wants to see that you can sit patient, because she's hoping that you have other options. What she's actually hoping for deep down is that there's a different girl that you'll just go take out, and you'll see, and you'll go take out on a date because you have the options and the fucking availability to do so. What she's hoping for is you're pre-selected. What she's hoping for is that you have other options. What she's hoping for is that at the end of the day, you can replace her with a woman who is at her current level of attractiveness or higher. So this is very important. This is why you need to expect women to use your impatience against you. So when you're very eager to take them out on a date, interest test failed. when you're very eager to see them, even if it's your long-term girlfriend. I don't care if you think you have chemistry. I don't care if you think you're in a relationship. I don't care if you think that you know her. Expect her to try to use that against you because she knows you want to see her. The second she knows you want to see her is the second she doesn't want to see you. That is the game in a nutshell. So when you're not patient, that equals no options. And it took me a long time to realize this. It took me a long time to realize that a man's attraction mechanisms, like here's what I mean. You're going to hear this from other content creators. They will tell you a man's attraction is like a light switch and it just goes on. A woman's attraction is like a slow turn dial that takes very long to warm up. I didn't realize how deep that goes. That goes so much deeper than you realize. When I say it's a slow turn dial, it's not a slow turn dial of attraction within 20 to 30 minutes or a couple hours. I'm talking days, weeks, and months of proving to that woman that you have survival value and proving to that woman that you are who you say you are, which is leading to pre-selection. It takes days and weeks and months of her seeing that you're not thirsty, of her seeing that you are patient, and her seeing that you can generate other options and you're not eager to see her. As soon as you're eager to see her, she knows that her beauty holds weight and holds power over you, and that instantly disqualifies you from being with her. So this is how they operate, okay? So the fourth thing that I started to realize is you wanting to see her in the first place loses pull in hypergamy. So when hypergamy is satisfied, she keeps coming back to you. When hypergamy is satisfied, she keeps wanting to see you. When hypergamy is satisfied, she keeps wanting to actually go out with you. And she desires to have those intimate experiences with you. But the problem is most men don't understand that women respond to a guy who has other options, and most men actually don't understand that they want to share a man and that this is what they actually respond to. You could have all the looks, all the money, all the status in the world. You could have all of that going for you. She will drop all those guys at the drop of a hat just for the hopes of getting with a man that other women want. And that is female attraction. You can't change that. That is Mother Nature. So when you start to see this for what it is, you wanting to see her in the first place loses pull or loses weight in hypergamy. And the fifth thing that I started to realize was she wants the one guy not giving her any attention. So here's what I could tell you. A woman could have 100,000 followers on social media. She could have every guy in her inbox, and these guys could be musicians, these guys could be professional athletes, these guys could be big business bankers, whatever the case may be. I don't know, whatever high status situation you can put yourself in. But the one or two guys that maybe are friends with her on social media, or they follow each other, or the one or two guys that maybe don't even follow her at all, those are the men who she's thinking about. Those are the men whose attraction she's trying to win over. Those are the men who she would actually like to go out on a date with. They want what they can't have, because her not being able to have that man signals potential pre-selection. So you can always expect women to use your impatience against you when dating. The second you reach out to her, the second you actually want her, the second you want to set a date with her, even if she's your girlfriend, is the second that you lose, and they start to lose desire. And I actually truly believe they wish it wasn't like that. I actually think that they see this for what it is, and they can't help it either, okay? So she wants the one guy not giving her any attention. So I'm going to show you how my game has changed over the years. I text as little as possible. I literally text message as little as possible. I make as few phone calls as humanly possible. If I'm seeing a woman, or we've went out on a few dates, there's a girl right now who I've went out on 3 dates with over the past probably 3 months, maybe even getting closer to 4. We've been out on 3 dates. When we see each other, we still talk. Occasionally, maybe I'll reach out to her to set a date. Occasionally, maybe she will reach out to me. But that's how you have to run this. That's how you have to pursue this. That's how you have to actually take this, is slow. Because a woman's attraction to a man is slow, because what you have to understand is they are optimizing for survival. So how do you show survival value and pre-selection to a woman? You do it by not being thirsty and not wanting them. You wanting them is why you lose. So it's very hard for women to find a true pre-selected man. Like the chances of a woman actually running into a celebrity that has tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of women after him, virtually impossible. I mean, nowadays it's a little bit easier, but the amount of women who actually have access to that type of guy is like slim to none. So what do you have to do as a man? You have to imitate a pre-selected man. So inside of the language of women, which is my brand new, kind of even product or mentorship that I have inside of the Headman Nation community for all of you guys. And here's what I came to terms with, and here's what I realized at every step of the dating interaction when it comes to front end game, okay? Middle game and back end game. Front end game is the first piece of attraction, the first interaction when you guys first meet. Middle game is the first 1 to 3 dates, and back end game is everything that happens in a long-term relationship. That is the language of women, and what you're doing through the whole sequence is you're imitating the movements of a pre-selected man. And I show you how to do this because this has taken me dozens and dozens and dozens, even hundreds of dates. This has taken me 10 years to put together. I put my all into this because it has literally taken me that long because of all the heartbreak, all of the hardship, all of the suffering, everything that I had to go through. I want to spread this with as many men as humanly possible so that way you guys don't have to go through the same things that I had to go through. That is why I made all of this, and that is why I put all of this together. So let me give you some examples. I reach out as little as possible. As soon as I start to see that a woman has some kind of attachment towards me or really likes me, I stop reaching out completely. Why? Because I translate everything. This is the main thing that I came to terms with. I translate everything to the story of Adam and Eve. Adam was instructed, or at least this is how the story goes, to tend to his garden. What does that mean? That means he's to focus on his mission and his task. Okay? But he didn't do that. Instead, what he did was he started to give his attention and his time to her, and then everything goes to shit. So when I started to put 2 and 2 together, that's what I realized. It's the woman who wants to come to the man. It's the woman who wants to reach out to the man. It's the woman needing to seek emotional reassurance from the man. The second you as a guy stop tending your garden, which for you could be your mission in life, your purpose in life, your career, your plans, your hobbies, your interests, your friends, the second you stop tending that garden and the second you start making her the center of your focus, you're reaching out to her, you're trying to set dates, you care if she responds or not, that is the second you're disqualified. So if a woman can't find a pre-selected man visibly in front of her, such as a celebrity, her next best option is to find a man who has strength characteristics that replicate a man of pre-selection, which means that what you can expect is you can expect women to use your impatience against you. So what they're doing is they're going to see how needy you are. You're going to ask her to set a date. She's going to say yes and then pull it away. There was just a girl who I texted a couple days ago to set up a date. And then what happened was instantly she says, oh, actually I have this, and this going on. Instead of me saying, oh, but you already committed, instead of me trying to set another date, I said, no worries. I go play it by ear and maybe we'll both meet up in the future. And she hearts the message. And then a couple days later, she reaches out to me. Why? Because she needs proof. She needs proof that I'm not thirsty. She needs proof that I don't need her. She needs proof that I don't even care if I see her or not. Women want a man that tends their own garden. They want a man who stays true to their own purpose. They want a man whose focus is not her. Because what she wants to see is that her beauty holds no weight over you, because what you're doing then is you're imitating a pre-selected man. So if you can imagine this, imagine you're a celebrity. Imagine it's 1,000 years ago and you're king of the land. Imagine it's 1,000,000 years ago and you're king of the land and you have a million women who all want you. Would that man be eager to set up a date? Would that man be eager to take her to dinner? Would that man be eager to even hopefully, would that man be eager to even hope that things go to an intimate level? No, he actually wouldn't care. That's why she wants him.